Hello everyone. Welcome to the first episode of our company SimplyFI. My name is Siddharth and I work as a digital marketing associate here. And so today we have here, the man himself, the CEO and the founder of SimplyFI, Vishwanath Akela. So why don't you tell our audience something, about yourself, how you started all these, and what's your inspiration and everything.
Thanks, Siddharth. Hi, everyone. This is Vishwanath. And of course, being a founder and CEO of SimplyFI has been a great ride till date, with lots of innovations, with lots of products, and a great team to support this, and great people behind this entire struggle. But prior to this, I was leading the innovation chapter for India at SAP Labs, and slowly transitioned into making the innovation as one of the major streak in my entrepreneurial journey. So that's where the name of simplifying means innovation came into the picture, and that's why we are SimplyFI today.
Okay, that's great. So today we're going to be talking about some blockchain and AI questions. So let's start with the first question. So it's like a very fun one. Like, what was your aha moment when you realized the potential of combining blockchain and AI?
Yeah. Blockchain has been there from a decade when Bitcoin has, Bitcoin as a first experiment on blockchain network has been introduced, and quite intrigued by such kind of experiments and the white paper by Satoshi. But later then it unfolded a whole new, possibilities of how enterprises can actually enable highly secured transactions, high transaction efficiency, as well as immutability of the transactions, as well as giving the world how a trust can be enabled on a network. So that possibilities have made blockchain one of the most favorite technology for enterprises, where there's a lot of high value transactions that happens. But these are all transactions of the record which are stored in the background. When AI in the recent world, when we actually talk about, has drastically made the human life and the way that we work a leap ahead, be it from the Gen AI perspective, be it from the conventional AI models perspective. So they have made great possibilities speak. For example, drug discovery is now much more easier by leveraging some of these technologies, which has been hard. It solves more complex problems than we anticipate. But when we actually combine both of the enterprise grade applications, where they require high level of data security plus intelligence on top of it, why not a combination of blockchain and AI? Yeah. A BA or blockchain and AI instead of an AB, will really unlock a great future. So that's where most of our applications which we are now building have to embrace these new technologies, give the value or give more value to the customer. So that has been the drive behind making blockchain and AI together, and this convergence will actually lead high potential to enterprises and give high value to the enterprises than operated in individual pieces.
Okay, so I have a question, it's a part of this. So you have been, producing different applications and softwares that's based on AI and, blockchain. And I read a recent article about, Apple and Samsung. Like, Apple was introducing AI to its phone, and like there was a backlash and they took it away. And that's the same thing. Like, I know this because, AI is an open source platform, and you are dealing with such international trade finances and everything. So how do you make sure that these are really secured and everything is under place?
What enterprises require is not just the data security, and most of its information is also private to the parties that are involved on the network. So what blockchain comes as a native feature is the ability to build that particular network. And that means people who can participate on this particular blockchain network can only look at the transactions, who have the permissions to view the transactions or write the transactions. So that permissioning is already enabled by blockchain by default. You don't have to really, again, reconfigure the systems to operate on it. The other bigger problem with enterprises is the outside in data or inside out data. What if the enterprise data is posted on the AI algorithm which learns and then gives out as a strategies of this particular company? There's a lot of private data which is in enterprises. So that's where enterprises shy away from leveraging the entire openness of the applications. So our configurations or our application platforms are ring fencing and making it enterprise grade so that the data is within the walls, but also leverage an intelligence which is an in-house built model, which is already a trained model, a quantized model which is deployed, so that the power resides all within the enterprise walls, so which does not really emit any of the data outside the network. So that gives them the potential to leverage the latest technology, be at the edge, get the greatest value out of the data, and also get the greatest intelligence out of this particular data. That sets apart us in terms of enabling a complete open AI based application to an enterprise grade Gen AI model.
Okay, that's
along
great.
with blockchain, of course.
Yeah. So we have been talking about blockchain and AI so much, and our audience must be wondering like what we are talking about. So can you explain blockchain and AI in a way that even your grandma could understand?
Okay, sure, I'll give it a try. Maybe just to give you a quick glimpse, blockchain is a very, very old technology. Our great grandfathers, they used inscriptions on stone.
Yeah.
And we can read even now. So that's the first blockchain experiment, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. So because it is immutable, it is transferable, it transfers the knowledge to us.
Yeah.
So this is the first successful experiment, which is already written as on an immutable ledger, which is called the stone.
Yeah.
Right. But just jokes apart, this becomes the first testament of how an immutable document can be represented. What if it is covered with encryption or an encoded language like a Morse code? So that encryption makes it only readable to the parties who know this particular specific language. And even if you could just have a small key which will turn it into your language, or maybe just a mirror which will reflect the language that you can understand.
Yeah.
That means you could actually learn whatever is there in the encrypted enclave. So it is a data storage, or it is a data vault which is secured by encryption and which could be read easily if you have a key.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the blockchain operates on. And the sets of information is chain of information which is like connected blocks to the previous block. So for example, if in the previous inscriptions they were talking about inscription of Ramayana, so maybe plague 1 has verse 1 and the plague 2 has verse 2, so it's all interrelated. So that's how blockchain blocks in the chain are interrelated by a common key called hash key, which is an encrypted key. So that's simple as what blockchain can be. But maybe when we talk about the intelligence, it's just a replication of or whatever the human brain is. The general intelligence that we use is powered by quite a lot of chemical reaction on your brain, right? It's a very complex subject to understand.
Yeah.
But this is how we are living and breathing because we have a complete abstraction of how the brain operates, but still we are having that intelligence. It's very, very similar, in which our AI engine is also a simulation of a brain to perform a certain activity. But to achieve what a brain can actually do, AI, it's still in its infancy. So the network is not so great for AI in the current at this moment, to really look at what the brain can operate on. So it's a simulation, it's a model simulator of a brain. That's what I would actually explain to my grandma, saying that, okay, it's a small or a micro brain which will think or which will perform an activity, but cannot be a human being. Why? Because human brain is much more complex than whatever it is.
Okay, so I've been reading something about AI, and these people, they are making robots and everything. So on one hand, Like they're saying, like a robot can't hurt a human being. They're not allowed to because they have these rules encrypted in them and they can't hurt like humans. But at the same time, because it's a very contradictory statement, like they are training the same robots, to fight in the wars and everything. So like, what would you say about this?
See, I would always say this, right? Whenever a technology is introduced, there are two sides of it: the good and a bad thing, or an evil thing. So there is no evil thing actually speaking. It's only good for what the technology is being invented or innovated. Always, I believe technology takes humans to a next level of evolution, next level of intelligence, next level of value chain in the entire human race. So we have been always growing with technology, and technology has always given us the power of convenience, the power of simplification, the power of advancement.
Yeah.
And the power to live more, the power to express more. So technology has been a friend for all of us. But there are scenarios where there's always a human element where the brain plays in a different way. So all humans are not wired the same.
Yeah.
While I treat technology as a friend, and I only wanted to use it for good, there are people who can actually use it for bad. Blockchain can be used for encrypted messages between different parties, and there are anonymous or hackers being use the technology to get the Bitcoin into their wallets to give the hacks. Is it ethical? It is ethical to them, but it is not ethical to the general public. It is it's not ethical to the governments. It is not ethical. And AI, which comes with huge potential, has enormous power. This is a tool which can be leveraged for greater good. For example, for a drug discovery, where we can actually find some great drug for a rare disease, and we could also use it for something potentially wrong. This has always been a debate where good versus bad. How do you leverage the potential? But we need to have guardrails to say that this kind of powerful technologies doesn't go in hands of people who will misuse them. So it should be a moral and an ethical responsibility of all the companies who are developing it. So there should be an ethical approach towards leveraging this technology only being used for good.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so my next question. So it's based on robots. So instead of robots,
I believe you love robots, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. It started back when I saw this movie, Will Smith's movie, I, Robot. Yeah, I really love that movie. So that time it's like, I want to know more about these things. So the question goes like, instead of robots taking our jobs, what kind of, dream teams can blockchain and AI create for the future?
So, as you're speaking about robots, humanoids are one of the bigger innovations for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so there, I think so Steven Spielberg has rightly projected already the what's going to be the future. And I think so many of the elements can actually come true. So humanoids will definitely be taking the human race to a next level, performing some of the routine jobs or some more intelligent jobs.
Exactly.
Will they compete with us? Again, maybe, may not be, but it's not in the near future for sure. But when quantum comes, maybe there can be some more radical advancements around this. Love to see how it's evolving. Humanoids is definitely one aspect. Second thing is the financial technology will radically have a greater innovations in this particular space by revolutionizing the payments, cross-border payments, the infrastructures which are used for settlements, payments across. And one more bigger area is healthcare. I always love this particular subject. Why? Because there's a huge potential of healthcare getting a big boost from the technology. So both blockchain, AI, and maybe in future quantum can redefine the way healthcare works for us, as well as mobility. Mobility is the transportations which we actually look at. So there are when subsystems of the technology becomes much more engineered, maybe we have more potential to move faster, drive faster, as well as being ethically being environmentally stable as well. The fourth space which I'm really counting on is the climate. which we should all be very, very concerned about. And this is definitely going to be one more bigger area where technology will definitely optimize the way that we consume and ethically use the resources that we have. So ESG is one more area which I actually see which gets revolutionized by all these technologies.
Okay, so what would you say, like, where we are, with quantum computing?
Okay, so that's always an interesting question that comes, right? Quantum, how far we are? Quantum is not so far. I mean, AI in the past couple of years has really shown what its huge potential it could actually bring.
Exactly.
And it became commercially viable. Commercialization has come into the picture. It is also the same cycle which quantum will take. At this moment, it's infeasible to have a personal quantum computer, maybe because the technology is also not feasible, but there are large players which are really doing a great job, be it IBM, Google's of the world, have really shown some direction to the world as well. There are a lot of researchers across the globe who are counting on quantum, and the early results are really stunning and astonishing. The compute that we could actually garner with quantum is quite heavy. That means it gives us the ability and power to solve much more complex problems at a rapid pace. So that means maybe we are now the technology is at a 200x pace. Maybe we might actually reach to 2000x, with quantum computers. So counting huge on this particular wave. But when I see, my estimate is going to be around 5 years where we will have a commercially viable quantum applications where humans can start leveraging, and that's where I see there will be a greater adoption. So the next decade, which is upcoming, is going to be full of quantum.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go into some practical questions. You deal in a lot of industries, like healthcare, banking, finance, and everything. So, let's pick an industry, anything you want. How can, blockchain AI revolutionize it? Because your products are already based on these things. Like, how do you think these will, revolutionize these things?
For me, from the genesis, I have keen interest towards, two most regulated industries. One is finance, the other one is healthcare. I think so. These two definitely are some of the bigger players which will adopt the technology faster as well, but they are also heavily regulated. So because we are native to it, we are seeing the journey, we are seeing the evolution, we are trying to catch up the wave, and we are accelerating our own innovation to ensure that the products speak the value and the customers can redeem the value at a faster pace. My natural inclination towards both these industries. Apart from this, there are multiple other industries, greater industries which are adopting, be it on the government services, public services, which I meant, as well the insurance, the risk, as well we have high-tech industry, automotive industry. There are quite a lot of industries that are innovating and then will take the advantage of these particular technologies. So I would not have favorites which will go first, but all these industries will greatly benefit and have a huge transformation in their conventional approach towards technology. They will have to rewrite their digital core. They will have to rethink about new strategies. How can they accelerate? They need to rethink about their strategies on how they can be fast-paced for the evolving business models for millennials. So the new order or the new norm is not going to be residing with the legacy and the old technologies. You innovate or you perish. So that's going to be the norm, and there will be a hyper adoption and digitization in every space that we actually see. But because we have already an advantage by starting early into this particular era of technology adoption and innovation, I think so we are trying to be well placed ahead of the curve. So that's where I think our products can meet the future, but also current, which is the present. It should also surface the present need. Present is more important.
So so security is a big concern in both blockchain and AI. How can they work together to create even a more secure system?
I have only one word answer for this: have guardrails for everything. Blockchain comes naturally with a good level of encryption. The architectures that have to interject and also question the governance has to be questioned, and that's where we need to keep a track of things on how security will be governed. So cybersecurity is one of the essential elements which cuts across every digital adoption that we are actually going to talk about. All that mandates is to have some governing principles around how can we secure right from the core. So the architectures have to mandate these particular guidelines, adhere to them, enhance them, and improvise them every bit. Also be AI ready. Why? Because the real-time scan, the real-time intelligence, the real-time fraud detection. So these are going to be increasingly more. So I call this as context-aware AI. So that means the AI should be having it's like a skin of the complete enterprise. It should feel, it should sense, and if it's an attacker, then it should be able to defend. So these are all the guardrails that we need to put in place.
Amazing. We got a lot serious. Let's have a rapid fire round. I'll just have one question and it's a fun question. So name a famous movie character who would be a champion of blockchain AI, and one who would be terrified of it. Like, what would you say?
I would say Iron Man, definitely.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, completely agreed. Yeah.
And the Loki, who gets terrified by this technology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this part. If you want to see the next part, please do like, follow, and subscribe. For the next part. So you want to say something to our audience?
No, I think so. It's been great. I think so. We need to have such kind of discussions. More on technology, and to bring more awareness to the world in terms of how the world is evolving. What are the things that we need to really take care of? What would be our ethical stand to prove that technology works for good? So these are some of the things which I really love in this particular conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe in future conversations we will have more enlightening discussions like this. Thank you very much.